I made a Kirblog all about a really awesome Netflix show. Bloom, bloom, bloom. It's called Bojack Horseman. Bojack the horse, don't act like you don't know. Because, I mean, you must have at least heard of it, for Christ's sake. And plus, if you're listening to this, I mean, yeesh. Anyway.
I didn't know if you were going to go for the main theme. It didn't even occur to me that you could go for the ending theme. I thought you were going to do a weird interlude on that little synth, that blum, bum, 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 bum.
I mean, it's hard to write lyrics for ambience type composition, so I just figured the ending would be a little bit easier.
You made it work
Hi,
nicely.
Shady.
Hello. Hi.
Thanks for coming. This is it's been a while since you've been on one
It
of
has.
these,
I think the
actually.
last time I
Yeah.
talked with you was on the subject of pursuing passion.
And maybe the ukulele one too. I forget if that was the last one, the one before it.
I don't know which one came first. I have no
been a
idea.
while.
It's been a while. It's been at
Either
least a
way,
year,
yes.
I would say.
Well, thanks for coming on. I definitely wanted to do this with you because I owe you very much for allowing me to borrow your fucking Netflix account.
That's okay.
To marathon through the show that we're going to talk about today. I don't even know where to start. I do want to say, for anybody out there who has not seen the show yet, what I was kind of thinking going into this with is just generally going with non-spoilery stuff, and then for the later half, talking about spoilery stuff, because I'm sure that we can go into it. I'm sure there are people who have seen the show in full that want to hear about that.
Sure.
But I guess to start with, so how did you get... The show's been around since 2014, I think now. So how did you first get into it?
It was a weird introduction to me because nobody said to me beforehand, like they recommended me the show. I had just got Netflix at the time and I was skimming through it and I saw the art style. It was a horse head with a humanoid body. And that was just really bizarre and curious for me. And I was like, what on earth is this? And the first couple of episodes were a climb, but after the first season, it was like, wow, holy crap. Okay, this thing actually goes places. So it was just by sheer luck, I caught it on Netflix just from the thumbnail. It just intrigued me.
That's actually pretty surprising because often... a lot of people I've talked to who are at least interested in the show, or maybe like they just, kind of passed on it at first or whatever, were saying like, yeah, at first the art style was kind of turning me off. Because like we were just talking before we recorded about, we're recording this on Thursday, and the new South Park just premiered this week, which I haven't seen yet. But we were talking about South Park and how like, because South Park is one of those shows where I think some people who aren't into it, even like maybe more so back in the day, are like, the art style, it's kind of not pleasant to look at,
right,
or whatever. And it's Bojack and Rick and Morty both have like in their visuals, which I love, but I totally get why to like just people who maybe don't even follow animation stuff all that well would probably look at it and just be like, oh, this looks stupid,
right? Yeah,
like just at first glance, and not give it the time of day. I was hearing about it back when it first started because, as it turns out, my friend Mike Rocco, who Kirblog listeners will know from, we did the Charlie Brown movie and the top 10 Disney movies, or top 5 Disney movies, Kirblogs from the last year or so. He actually was a storyboard artist on the first season on like various episodes. And I believe he even had to illustrate the picture, if I'm remembering correctly. I believe he illustrated the picture of Bojack naked, like laying down like an old school painting.
What
like
you mean in the swimming pool? Yeah,
I think so. Or no, it's like a painting on his wall or something. I believe it was one of the early advertisements that they had.
Oh, I think and he's like draped himself with like a cloth or something, right?
Yeah, he's all like artsy looking.
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah, like really
Mike,
pretentious.
Mike illustrated that.
Oh, that's sick! I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it might have even been like on a billboard out here or something, like when the show was first coming out on Netflix. Because I didn't even realize like it's so weird like how much time has passed since I've moved out here, but it's like it's already been that long since the show came out originally.
Yeah, it's gone by quick.
Yeah, and 3 seasons, all of which and Mike Lucas was telling me also like, oh, you should watch the show, but he was also like, don't watch the entire thing all in a row because it will depress the fuck out of you.
Yeah, no, it absolutely will.
Despite that, I was just so hooked on it that I just sped through the entire thing and just I couldn't stop. And you've already watched it twice by this point. You were just watching through it again this past weekend, right?
Yeah, no, I've seen season 3 times. I had to rewatch the first and second season this last week because you mentioned that you wanted to do the blog together, and there was a lot of information that slipped me originally. There's a lot of stuff I don't remember happening in season 1 and 2, but I've sit through the whole thing again recently. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've only had one. There's one episode which I'll probably talk about during the spoilery part that I have rewatched entirely because it's my favorite. I've just finished getting through it like in the last like couple weeks or so. I guess my God. So I'll go ahead and presume. I think that there's probably a lot of people listening who, you know, like I was kind of implying earlier, like haven't given it the time of day or maybe haven't gotten around to watching it or whatever. Shady, how would you elevator pitch this show? Like, how would you even describe this to somebody?
Okay. If you have ever had any anxiety or second thoughts about where you are in the universe and what your purpose is, this show basically puts it into perspective that you're not alone. And it shows the really dark side of how living your life puts other people's on effect. It's just a very insider, vulnerable look to a starving actor who never had a shot at getting the life he wanted because he doesn't know what he wanted. It's really heartbreaking. I know you said elevator pitch and I'm expecting like 2 sentences, but I can't really fit it into anything like that.
It's so much more complex than it looks.
Yes.
Like, because on the outside, okay, first of all, I'm sure if you guys have heard of it, obviously, you know, Bojack himself and a lot of the other key characters, they're, you know, anthropomorphic animals. It's, for one case, that's just treated as normal. Like, it's not
that's
like...
just the universe, yeah.
Know. Yeah, it's not like a plot point or whatever. It's literally just like, this is how the world is in this story. That just there are animal people of various species that live in tandem with humans. And it's almost presented kind of like, because for, you know, it's got some pretty funny gags. It's a very, despite it being a very heartfelt and pretty serious show, it's got a lot of comedy to it.
Yes.
It's got a lot of really solid, funny shit. But weirdly, the animal angle is almost treated as like a gag, because like with like just the characters kind of like pun names. Or like a lot of the animal characters, like their actual names are literally just like pet names, like Princess Carolyn.
Yes.
And Mr. Fluffy Meow Meow Face is the police officer guy, I believe.
Yeah. They had a great dynamic in between cutting between shots where it was like the establishing shot of a new background or something, and they would show like a cheater that was working as carpool would take the car and park it in like 5 seconds, and then the slug would take 20 seconds, and you see the owner of the car just going, dude, come on, what the hell?
Yeah, and it seems like I was picking up on that, they saved those kind of like, I guess, easy jokes, if you want to call it that,
sure,
for just like these really quick little gags. Like they're not like at the forefront necessarily, and so in that way they're kind of presented as clever.
Yes.
So because they don't like, they're not the face of the show. Like I think it's very easy to presume it's like, oh, this is probably very like, you know, and the thing is though, it is also, it's pretty crass. You know, it's not like super explicit necessarily. It doesn't have a lot of like super raunchy language. It actually it utilizes.
I think it uses profanities well.
Oh yeah. Without getting too specific, it utilizes the F word incredibly well.
Yes.
At just the right moments.
Yes.
But despite that, like it almost in a way, because a Nostalgia Critic just recently did a video about like, is weird the new brilliant, and how like Bojack is, like the show itself, it is super weird. It is very out there in terms of like its presentation style, its you know, its visuals and some of its humor and stuff. And despite that, it is just so like, because everything that you said before, absolutely correct. It's also a very, very, I would say, realistic window into kind of what Hollywood celebrity culture is like. And in a way, it very, very interestingly humanizes a lot of different people who work in a lot of different types of people who work in the entertainment business. From, you know, I mean, Bojack is Bojack himself is the struggling, I had this one job back in the 90s. I mean, as the song says, was on a very successful TV show in the 90s and just can't fucking catch a break since then. And then you have Mr. Peanut Butter, who, is this Labrador Retriever guy who's just loves everything and everything works out for him, and he's so optimistic about life even though he works in a business of assholes.
Right.
And then you have like Diane, who's a ghostwriter, which is a unsung hero kind of job, and then Princess Carolyn, who is Bojack's agent, and she is absolutely how agents tend to be, and how difficult and how hectic their lives can be, and she's one of my favorites for sure. And it really offers a lot of, I would say like stereotypical yet non-stereotypical insight as to what those kind of lifestyles are like.
Yes.
And just how truly fucked up they can be in a way. But I guess on that same kind of note, I've been talking about like the main cast. Any particular? I mean, all of the main cast are amazing, but any particular favorite characters that you really connected to, and how come?
Oh, God. Well, all of them are easily connectable for different reasons, and unfortunately, those reasons are the tendency in their flaws. I think there's definitely a human connection with the show. I think the main push is that there's a part of you that wants to connect to the characters, but at the same time don't. Because it sort of puts that mirror reflection on you and like, oh God, is that how I've come across when I've said something that's been miscommunicated, or is that what I'm doing is happening in somebody else's life? I mean, they're all great for different reasons. Todd, I think, is probably the most interesting expansion, though, because you start with something on the character initially that's very simple. He's sort of the idiot comic relief is how we're introduced to him. But as we go through seasons 2, especially 2 to 3 significantly, he's fleshed out. And you learn more about him and what it is that his own struggle is in, that he's finding himself, really. I guess we're going past the point of spoilers, really, here, if we're going to talk about their characters in depth.
Well, no, not yet. No, you don't have to go into the super deep stuff just yet.
Okay, well, I guess that's no spoiler because everybody in this show is trying to find themselves.
Yeah, I think that's general enough. That's not risking anything, really. It's kind of funny about Todd, by the way, because like when I just started watching Breaking Bad over the last week or so.
Oh, well. Aaron Paul, it's fantastic, the contrast.
First of all, he fucking sounds a lot like Mark Thompson, because I'm hearing like kind of Duke Devlin-esque things in the way he talks, because he'll be like, "Hooray, responsibility! Yeah, Mr. White!
Yeah,
dimension the dice!" And I'm like, oh, they sound a little similar, but it's. When you see Todd in the very beginning of the show, I mean, right down to the fucking hat he wears, he almost comes off like, oh, okay, is the joke with them is he's kind of like a cartoony, like almost upbeat version of Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad, with the joke of Aaron Paul voicing him.
Right.
But as things progress, especially in the later seasons, and you kind of get a little bit more of a window into what his deal is, it's like, oh no, he really is kind of his own, thing onto himself, and he is a lot more intriguing than he seems at face value, because when you have like the comic relief goofball character, it's really easy to just kind of have them be like, all right, they're just kind of that fixture in the universe. But he's one, actually, without going into anything in depth, he's one I'm pretty curious about where they're going to take him in the 4th season that I think has already been confirmed.
Do you know that season 4 got confirmed a few days after season 3 went live on Netflix?
I'm not even surprised by that.
No, just they signed a deal for the next season within the first week of the show going on Netflix. Unbelievable. And with good reason, though. If you haven't seen it and you're listening to this, go see it. Go get it. I'll give you my Netflix account. It'll be all right.
Don't give everybody your Netflix account.
You're getting jealous.
That's for me.
I know.
That's for me. And
I'm sorry, babe.
And Bryony.
Yes.
And your dog.
Yes.
Luca has his own Netflix account, too. He watches Pound Puppies from the Hub. Any other I don't know, major characters, side characters, anybody like that you really relate to?
There is absolutely no relation to this character, but I think his performance is amazing. I love Sebastian St. Clair.
Oh,
I love Sebastian. It's Key from Peel and Key.
Yeah, from Key and Peele.
I had no idea. I think that's phenomenal. He's just. I don't know. The dialogue is fantastic. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Here's a statue of me building the hospital, and at the same time, here's a painting of me posing to take the picture of me building the hospital. It's just, the dude's just so into himself. But then you have the flip side of why he talks and acts the way he does in the events of which he's running, and you sort of get it, kinda. But no, there's every single character. It's very rare that you get this about a show in particular, but every main character has a relatable, humanized presence about themselves, and I don't know what it is.
Speaking of performances too, my God, Alison Brie on Diane is so fucking like real.
Yes,
I mean everybody is very believable in the show, but Alison Brie in particular, she's like one of the major standouts. Like, and also in addition to Diane, she is also the incredibly hilarious character of Vince McGrownup or what I forget his last name, but
Vince.
Vincent
Adultman.
Yeah,
he did a business. Yeah,
he's off doing a business.
He's doing a business with the guys for the papers
at the business factory.
At the factory, the business factory. Yeah,
Diane is definitely one of my favorites. I just like, because even I'm gonna say everybody is totally believable. Mr. Peanut Butter and like Princess Carolyn are a little bit more on like the character-y kind of side, because like I both love them to death as well. Diane is just like, I totally just see her as this like exactly as she is, a human being in a world of cartoon characters that she's like, what the fuck am I doing? Princess Carolyn's arc, especially later on, I was because being, I don't know what it's like to be an agent or a manager necessarily, but in terms of like, having to babysit people and overseeing other folks and wanting to like draw out the potential in others, like I totally relate to that in a different kind of way, certainly, with the type of stuff that I do, but her very like, take charge, like, grab by the balls mentality sort of thing is just really entertaining to me. Mr. Peanut Butter and also Bojack himself have such an interesting dynamic with me, because like, okay, so Mr. Peanut Butter is the type of person that I really genuinely try to make a conscious effort to be, but Bojack is the type of person that I catch myself in, my darker moments of like, oh God, I'm totally pulling a Bojack right now. Certainly not to a lot of the same extremes, I would say.
Right.
Like there weren't like too many specific things that was like, oh God, I've been through that. But certainly like moments of doubt and things. Because like I've talked a little bit before on other ones about the character that I played in Y2K, a postmodern RPG, and how I kind of jokingly refer to him as like the most relatable douchebag I've ever met. Where there were so many moments where our friend Brittany Lauda directed me on that game, and there were so many moments throughout the recording process of like, oh God, oh, he's doing this thing, and that's such a dick thing to do, and then I'm like, oh God, I've done that before,
Sure.
and like Bojack, I think for everybody, in some kind of way, I think has totally, even without living the very kind of specific history that he's been through.
Yes.
Because like I think it's safe to say that most people probably haven't been through that sort of thing, like that life path he's had.
Right.
But the shit that he does and the decisions that he makes and the things that he does to, that impacts people, both positively and more commonly negatively.
Yes.
Are totally like, oh God, I've been there, and it's very eye opening.
Right. Like
there are some just really intense moments and episodes, that just get like, I don't know. They humanize people that make these stupid fucking decisions and do these awful things.
Yeah,
and they make you look at yourself, and it's like, oh God, like,
because the thing is, when it comes to real life and those sort of incidents and sort of circumstances happen, usually the communication is cut off. You don't usually hear the explanation from the person who it was that made the consequence happen. It's usually you just see the damage of the result. With Bojack, what you lead up to is the understanding why he comes to those decisions. It doesn't dismiss the wrong in which he's doing, but then you have that sort of unveil of the cloak. You understand why he got there, sort of deal, and that's usually not how it is in the real world. You don't get that sort of communication.
The specific themes that the show kind of goes into, one in particular that I really took to was like, there's a point made about how does happily ever after really exist? Like once you get to a certain point, I mean, life doesn't just end,
right?
You have to keep on going, and you have to set new goals for yourself and find new methods of keeping yourself happy and getting through life and etc. Which I think because especially for Shady, you and I are creatives, and for us, like I feel like for people like us and anybody who's an artist, a musician, an actor, anybody, and especially when you're enveloped in the entertainment business and you're having to pay bills, that finding that kind of consistent happiness and like satisfaction, like it's a very different kind of journey that you have to go through compared to if you're just kind of like if you go through life with a normal kind of job and you start a family and you have kids and etc. And for some people, for on both sides of that kind of scale, you find kind of similar points of like of not settling, but like of a level of satisfaction and complacency where it's like, yeah, you know what? I'm happy like this. Life is pretty good.
Well, it's a compromise, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, because like I guess because compromise can sound like in a negative connotation in some ways, like, oh no, I don't want to settle or whatever.
No,
which is another point that's brought up.
You weigh it on each side and you make a realistic judgment of can I get this and get this at the same time? Probably not. Well, where am I going to be the most happiest sort of deal? That's essentially what Bojack is coming about to. It's late into the game and then thinking, what's next? What now?
Yeah, and it's like you want these characters to be happy, like for all the shit that happens and all the dumb things that all of them do in different ways, Bojack being the most extreme, of course.
Right.
But despite all of that, it's like, because we at the moment that we're recording this, obviously there's been 3 seasons and we don't know when the 4th one is going to come out. I don't know if the 4th one is going to be the final one necessarily. Part of me even maybe kind of hopes that it is, and part of me is like, oh, but I want more because like, not that I want the characters to continue suffering, but I want to see what happens with the next, and I want to see all of them get, I guess the closest thing to a happy ending, to some kind of complacency, some kind of satisfaction, and some good feelings.
Yeah.
Because there's been bits and pieces throughout the course of the show in different ways, and some of those bits of happiness have even come for bad reasons.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to see that happen with these characters who are so likable, so relatable, so fucking entertaining and fun and unique, there's no other show quite like this. Like, I don't know. When I watched this, shortly before I watched this, I was watching Stranger Things, which is a great show. And, excuse me, in my Kirblog about Stranger Things, I was talking about how when I finished it, I thought, oh, this is life-changing. Stranger Things is very good. Bojack is life-changing. Like, there's just so many things, so many moments throughout the entirety of, what is it, like 20, 39 episodes, I think?
Yeah,
total
around, there's about 11, 12 episodes per season, so probably around in the realm of 35.
And like I said, like I couldn't stop. I just could not fucking stop going through. I was having binges of like 6 or 7 episodes, maybe more per day, and like, there were a few nights where I'd just be kind of laying in my bed and just like, next one. Oh, fuck it, whatever, another one. One more. God damn it, I can't stop. Help me.
See, the thing is, the beauty for you is that you came into the game when all 3 seasons were out. I didn't. Yeah. I had to wait another 9 months until the 3rd season came in. And by that time, I had already forgotten what had happened in season 1 and 2. But then it was a treasure again because I got to rewatch and it was like I was doing it for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, Netflix is on fucking fire with this model of like, it's so weird. Like, this is a little off topic from Bojack specifically, but we're in like this kind of strange. Well, maybe it's not strange. I think it's cool, and entertainment world seems to be adopting it pretty well, is this whole thing where a lot of people are liking just marathoning through these shows like they're long movies.
Yeah.
They're still treated like they're like their series, because each episode is individualized. But like, not even, season 1, season 2, season 3, really the whole show is just one long, amazing experience that you just don't want to stop once you start it.
Well, it is essentially pretty much presented as a movie, isn't it? There are some flashbacks and references to earlier time to put into context the now, but it is essentially just one long movie that just every time it stops, it's like, well, I need to see what happens. Every episode just ends with well, that's that, and you're like, well, no, it's got to be fixed. I need to see it be fixed.
Yeah, and like again, seriously, like just those particular nights where like, fuck, I can't go to sleep. I have to know what the next thing is gonna happen.
Yeah,
like,
yep.
The closest equivalent of like, okay, this is peaceful enough for me to just leave this off, and I'll pick up on the next episode tomorrow. And those were rare moments. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god. So I guess on that note, yeah. So if you haven't watched the show yet, and if we hopefully have sold you on it, go fucking watch that shit, please. And now come back. All this time later, I'll remind you, perhaps. No, I won't. Come back, and now we're gonna get into the spoiler territory.
Everything that's spoiler alerted is crucial if you want to watch it completely blind.
Yeah, so from here on out, if you want no spoilers or anything, go. And here's the thing: I know that for some people, like this has happened pretty commonly in recent years with bigger shows, where like, if you see like a later episode, and you're like, whoa, I want to see the rest of this, and then you go in, that's totally fine. But I would strongly recommend just that it's really, really worth just seeing from start to finish. So if you don't want any spoilers, and but you want to hear on, or if you've already seen the show, you want to hear our main thoughts on that, then either stop and go check it out, and otherwise stay. And here we go. Okay.
Right.
My God, where do we go from here now?
Well,
I guess
you lead. I'll be as honest as I can about everything, because I've got a lot of opinions about this.
Oh boy. Yeah, there were. It's funny. So I guess kind of going into this, Shady, you were joking to me about like, this show, especially season 3, it's like, this is going to rip your soul out.
It's going, what I said, it's going to rip your soul out, show it to you, break it in front of you, and then put it back in, pat you on the back and go on, off you pop, and then you're just going to be like, what?
Yeah. I feel very gratified that, I adored the entire ride, start to finish. It was incredible.
Yes.
It didn't break me. It's surprisingly, despite there being so many moments where you think like, woof, but it didn't. There were certainly moments, which I'm going to get into in a bit here, that were like, I'm going to pause and take a little walk around my room for a few minutes, because wow.
Right.
But there weren't that were making me like, oh God, what am I doing with my life? If anything, actually, most of this stuff was like, it was clarity. It was like, okay, I know where I'm at right now, like with my life in general. It's like, I know where I'm at right now.
Right.
I know what I need to do. I know what I need to not do. I know what I need to be completely self-aware of. It was very helpful and kind of therapeutic in that way. The really standout things to me were the more intense kind of shit, which, I want to save mine a little bit. What was a particular episode, moment, anything that really made you like? What was like the first one that made you be like, whoa?
Well, the first one was with Herb in his home in Malibu. That was the first time, actually, I think they say fuck, and that in itself was the first time it got mentioned, but then it was also combined with just that real conversation between Bojack and Herb, of how he was apologizing, and Herb basically saying, go fuck yourself, I'm not accepting it. At that moment, you sort of realize that, unlike horsing around, not everything's going to get resolved at the end of 23 minutes. This is life, and it has its consequences sort of deal. Herb was definitely the first kicker. Then I would say the next big one was during the where he just goes ape shit with the drugs with Sarah Lynn and Todd, and he has that bad trip of where he wants to be in his life, and if he would have gone with Charlotte, he would have had a baby by now, and he reckons he would have been happier that way. Is there anything else?
The whole sequence with like the fantasy with Charlotte, like during that, I'm just like,
yes.
Oh my God, don't do this to me. Because okay, all right, I'm gonna take over. All right, Charlotte. I want to talk about Charlotte for a second because she basically is a spoiler character. I wanted to save her for this point. Okay, Charlotte. First of all, to get this out of the way, holy shit, Olivia Wilde's voice is so fucking hot.
Right.
And also her performance was, my God, like just outstanding for like the 3 or 4 episodes in total she was in. Like, wow.
You know what I'm noticing actually about Bojack for an animated show? They don't have a lot of they have some, but they don't have a lot of their actors and actresses doing voices. They're pretty much saying, talk as if it's you sort of deal. And that's just completely what sells it. It sounds completely natural.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that earlier, but fuck it, whatever. I don't know who the voice director for Bojack is. I don't know if maybe it's one of the creators of the show itself, or one of the expected kind of people who do voice direction for cartoons and stuff. I'm not really sure, but either way, my God, because celebrities in general, for me personally, can be kind of hit or miss. Hit or miss. Jesus. That's a new Pokemon, hit or miss. It's going to be in Pokemon Sun and Moon.
It fucking sounds like one. Jesus.
Celebrity voiceover in cartoons can be very hit or miss. It really depends on the production and who's calling the shots and etc. And also sometimes just flat out if the celebrity I think is invested and knows what they're doing when it comes to, because voice recording is such a different beast compared to film stuff. And often, I won't go into this whole rant about it because other people have done it better than me. But for a lot of film actors in general, and especially for celebrities, sometimes they don't always get the difference between voiceover and just, live action and on camera and theatrical kind of action.
Sure.
But my God, everybody on the show got it.
Yeah.
They just fucking got it. Will Arnett has been doing a lot of animation stuff in recent years. He was in Horton Hears a Who, and he's in Lego, the Lego movie as Lego Batman. But just everything from all these guys were so. But and the ladies in particular, Alison Brie and Amy Sedaris on Princess Carolyn, and Olivia Wilde on Charlotte, and whoever played
Beatrice. Are you going to say Bojack's mom?
No. Oh, no, she was good too. Penny, Charlotte's daughter. I couldn't remember who played her. I think she's a stand-up comedian. She was great too. In my favorite episode, bar none, Escape from L.A. Holy fuck!
Really? That what? Because of the circumstances, or just because it went somewhere?
That whole episode. Just that whole episode. It's so heart pounding and uncomfortable and intense, and has all these great moments of advice and and clarity for all these different characters in different ways. Because what I was going to say, so Charlotte in the first couple episodes where she's introduced in different ways, both in when we actually meet her, and then the fantasy that he has, and then when she's, pardon me, at the funeral for Herb.
Yes.
I'm this character is designed for me to love them. They're so cool and likable, and Olivia's performance is really solid, and just everything. And it's I see exactly no shit why Bojack is why did I leave that? Why did I never pick up on that kind of thing, and fucking my God, and then that entire episode, all the way up until the last sequence or so of Escape from L.A. Everything from Bojack and Penny get back from the prom up until the end, I have watched that 5 times.
Really?
Just that specific part. For one, actually, in fact, just the other day, I was even using the analogy about, doctor, it hurts when I do this. You know what the doctor said? You should probably stop doing it. That's actually really good advice. I was just quoting that whole scene, and then. My God, how does it go? Because it's so just, and then even this specific part, maybe 10 times I've watched this. If you are not out of my driveway in 30 minutes, I will call the police. And if you ever try to contact me or my family again, I will fucking kill you. I'm just okay, I need to pause and walk around my room for a little bit because, oh my God, wow, holy shit.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised she went as easy on him as she did.
Yeah. Oh God, that whole episode is incredible. Like
there was a
so
moment
fucking
actually
brilliantly episode.
during the first time I was watching it, and there was where she opens the door and there's the big reveal. There was a moment of me that was like, I need to pause this because I'm not going to enjoy watching it, because there's no censor there. There's no big curtain where we go, oh, the characters are going to resolve this and everyone's going to go happy. It's like, these are real life consequences and this is the biggest fuck up ever. What the hell is happening?
Yeah, no, I remember, when she's climbing up to the boat and about to open the door, I remember I was like, no. And I mean, like, and then even, the guilt of, the decision that was made, regardless of what it was in that situation, was like, oh God. And I'm like, okay, I will say, I think I told you this a while ago when I was in the process of watching it. I did have one minor thing spoiled for me, and it's my fault because I looked up that clip on YouTube, which shame on me. I should have just watched it gone back to it on Netflix. And one of the comments was like, oh, but in this season 3 episode when Penny, and I'm like, fucking goddamn. And to be fair, I think it was enough of an assessment that, okay, something with this is going to come back into play in season 3.
To be fair, the way season 3 played up to that, it was very sort of, it was sort of foreshadowed that was going to happen anyway. That the event eventually she was going to come back into the picture somehow. So it didn't really spoil too much.
No. That episode, which also is another, I don't know if that's one of your favorites, but That's Too Much, Man, the Sarah Lynn adventure episode.
Right.
Oh boy. That ending was like really, really well done. The last little bit with them in the
planetarium.
What's it called? The planetarium.
Yeah.
Sarah Lynn, you there? It's like, oh boy.
That's one of the episodes where you go, no, you've been watching Netflix for 7 hours. Would you like to stop? No, I wouldn't like to stop. I want everything to be okay. Make it okay, Netflix.
Oh man, nothing will ever be okay ever again. Oh God, what are some other? I've been talking for like 30 years. What are some other ones for you?
Oh God, there's so many great parts. There's the parts in particular that I really enjoy are where it gets serious. And it becomes more than just passive comments about whatever the subject is. For example, in season 3, once you have the Sextina Aquafina whole thing about the abortion sort of push.
Oh, that's right.
And I thought that was a really good issue to put on, because it is true exactly what she's saying with this sort of, pro-life, pro-choice, women get slandered for making their own decisions sort of deal. But there was a beautiful dynamic where you see the envy of Princess Carolyn come in for the fact that she didn't have a baby when talking to Diane. Moments like that where you dip into the real-life decisions and you can see what makes these characters tick about where they're going in life. I think those are beautiful moments.
Considering the subject matter, I totally forgot about that episode. My God, but yeah, no, that is that's for that subject matter, and for also how untasteful Sextina Aquafina was treating it. The episode itself was extremely tastefully well done.
Well, the thing is,
it boggles my mind.
Sure, but the thing is that with Sextina is that you want to feel outraged and sort of like, oh, this is terrible. How could anybody do this? But you think like all these teen, Hollywood girl stars who are pursuing this exact sort of lifestyle. Again, it kind of goes into that decision of you understand, you don't fully, agree with the decision, but you understand how it's got there. And then, of course, these sort of celebrities have worldwide push to everybody, and the whole world sees it. But then you get the other side of the spectrum as well with Diane and Princess Carolyn. It goes places that shows just don't go, and it's a beautiful... It doesn't feel like there's a bias either way, really. It's not presented as such. It's that self-reflection of going, well, am I a bad guy? I don't believe in bad people. It's just what you do that makes you who you are. Well, that's depressing, sort of,
Yeah.
It leaves it to the viewer to decide inherently whether these people are bad people. And I think that's wonderful.
The tar pit thing.
Yes.
The tar pit thing was also, I think, a great point brought up in the Escape from LA one, kind of in tandem with that point too. Yeah, One, actually, I think both of us have probably a lot of stuff to say about. It's funny because with TV shows, sometimes you could be like, oh, the this episode, the episode where this happens or whatever. How many shows can you describe like, oh, dude, one of my favorites is the underwater episode.
I fucking love that episode. Oh my god.
That is Mike Lucas's favorite
it was
episode,
so
he was telling me.
Beautifully, wonderfully done. And the whole thing about the little seahorse baby and oh no, it was perfect. And the ending, Sea of Dreams, oh, you have got to be, you'll find me. It's fantastic.
A little quick story about that one. So I saw the beginning of that episode, and then I had to run off somewhere, so I didn't even. It was introduced to me with the characters are talking, and I had no indication that anything about it was going to be out of the ordinary. And then I remember I saw Mike later that day, and I told him, oh yeah, I just got up to the episode where he's about to go to the film festival. He's like, oh dude, that's my favorite episode. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, you'll see. And he didn't let on anything to me. I went back, I picked up on it. And I'm like, nobody's talking. Oh, this is the whole episode. Oh.
Yeah.
And yeah, because you think with a show like that like, oh, maybe that's a little risky. Like, is that a little too like out of the ordinary or whatever? Would people get it? But like, it's like it is as you described it before. It's a beautifully done episode. Like, it's so smart with everything. And yeah. Pardon me. The whole bit, particularly with the kid, the little seahorse kid, I was like, oh, and that is another thing. With the little bit at the very very end of season 3, which we'll get to that too. But Bojack's ideology as or the idea of Bojack wanting to raise a kid someday, in both because. It seems like it's been visited a little bit, both with the bleak fantasy he had about Charlotte in season 1, and then with the seahorse kid in that episode. I'm really curious and hoping that something will happen with that in season 4.
Well, it's got to, hasn't it? Because you and I both know what the end scene of season 3 suggested.
Yeah. What it might suggest.
Well, I don't think there would be a sneak peek put in and then it wouldn't be relevant. It's too perfect. It's too perfect. But the thing is that I get from Bojack is that there is a moment when they're recording the Mr. Peanut Butter movie in his house. And Diane's talking to him, and he says something like, why would I want to settle down? I'm 50. But after that, there's a beat of silence sort of deal. And I think what it is that Bojack imagines that having a kid to look after would give him purpose. Whether or not he means that because he has a lot to love to give genuinely, or it's an internal comfort, I really don't know. But I certainly see that being the way it's going forward, especially with the whole underwater seahorse thing. When he gives him back at the door and he's just there and he doesn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah. That and actually, you know what? Oh God, I can't remember her name. The director who was originally set on Secretariat.
Kelsey.
Kelsey, thank you. Yeah, she's played by Maria Bamford, who is also a pretty experienced cartoon voice actor. She was also a very, very good character. Like, particularly just as a piece of development for Bojack's arc during that that whole thing. But very, very well executed, like short kind of character in the short term of the story. I guess. Do you want to talk about the finale?
God. Well, where do you start, really? Because the finale technically starts at the beginning of the show.
Yeah. I mean, well, okay. I'll say this much.
There's so much I can't think of anything to start with.
I know where to start with. Okay, I'll say this. When I started the show, and the kind of warning that Shady gave me about. The warning that Mike Lucas gave me about, like, don't watch it all at once. Don't binge watch all 3 seasons. You're gonna hurt yourself emotionally. Okay, hear me out, everybody. I was basically bracing myself for, okay, I am expecting in some episode Bojack is probably going to try to kill himself.
Right, yeah, that's what I was holding my breath at the end scene.
And not in any kind of like, ooh, I can't wait for that or whatever, just bracing myself because, that's... Even for like the most normal kind of people, sometimes that like seeing that kind of stuff happen, it's hard. It's hard to take that in.
Right.
And the whole kind of sequence at the end of season 3 with kind of checking in on what everybody is doing at the moment. That was I was like, oh boy, here it is. But we have a 4th season, so, I mean, okay, all right. And then, thank God, didn't go that route.
Yes,
but
that you know of.
Yeah, well, it was something else.
Absolutely.
And the setup for, okay, what's he going to be discovering now about where... Although there is something I feel should be pointed out from, if I'm not mistaken... The wild horses he saw running around in that last shot of season 3, that's in New Mexico. So I am mildly concerned about the fact that it's in New Mexico because
of course he went back. He went back, didn't he? The sign. Yeah. I completely forgot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that is a little concerning. I'm curious as to if and how Charlotte might come into play for why he's there.
I seriously doubt he would go there. Really. I'd be honestly quite surprised if he did.
Yeah, I mean, this show has thrown a lot of curveballs. Like from start to finish, it's had a lot of very unexpected and pretty cool kind of twists with everything.
Right.
And I don't know. That's what's exciting about the future too. Is like I really. It's certainly fun and easy to have theories about this kind of stuff. Like with other shows that I'm watching, it's fun to imagine like, oh, maybe is it going to go this way or whatever. But this is one of those shows where I'm just like, I don't know. Because it's easy to think like first and foremost it might be he's gonna see what it's like to be a normal person that isn't living in Hollywood and he'll fall in love with that kind of life. But at the same time it's like he kind of did that already.
Yeah,
he kind of did that with Charlotte, and then he ultimately was like, well, this isn't gonna work and I got to go back and the circumstances were different and who knows what'll happen this time. And then also with this girl that we don't necessarily know what is the deal with her yet. And the same thing, it's like it's easy to think like, was this one of those times that he didn't use a condom?
Well, that's the thing. If I've watched back to season 3, and he makes those comments like 3 times, especially during the whole abortion scandal sort of thing. I was like, abortions. I had lows in the 80s. Well, I just gave the money. Actually, I hope they took the money and didn't just run with it.
Yeah. So that might be what that is too.
Totally possible.
Oh. Lord, is there anything you want to see or hoping for or been thinking about regarding that?
They're certainly pushing the idea of this narrative that it's going to be Bojack having a daughter, and I think that would be an amazing realm to witness. I think potentially having a kid would save him from himself, because then at least he has purpose, at least in his eyes. If he had that sort of attachment to the seahorse in the underwater episode. But I don't know. I want to see all these characters be happy, but I know that the show won't let me.
You know what? Actually, before I forget this, there's one more major moment. Did you have any others you wanted to go over or?
The scene between him and Wanda before they break up is something interesting.
That was just like, oh man, come on, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah,
because I was like, I liked her
because Bojack had no reason to call it off. He had everything going relatively the way he wanted, but he was too busy floundering in his own sadness to see how much of a catch she had it.
Yeah, a big one that I've thought about lately is another one that I've gone back and watched the scene of a little bit. Another friend of mine who marathoned through the show recently, she was talking about this moment with between Todd and Bojack at the end of It's You.
Right.
Another moment where fuck was dropped, and she actually insisted that was the best use of it in the whole show, of the like, fuck, man, what else is there to say?
Well, that's the thing. They only use it, from what I can understand, when a relationship is like irrevocably damaged.
Yeah,
it's
Diane
drawn nicely,
mother, and then or Diane saying
mother.
I
wouldn't technically count that. That was a beautifully done transition, but I don't know if I would necessarily consider that to be a curse, because there was no bleeping.
It was more played up for a joke than used for a serious moment.
Well, yeah, but no, it's lovely done.
But yeah, that moment with Todd, like that's a piece of like, I think that's the most kind of like general takeaway for everybody.
Yes.
Of like, you need to do better. It's not because of all these things. It is you, and you can't just keep feeling bad about it. You have to, you got to be the one to change.
Right.
And yeah, it's hard, but you got to fucking do it. And that's it. And it's like, and actually kind of in tandem with that bit too, in the final episode where he's talking to Diane, and he mentions the bit about like, I'm poison. Like that was another bit where it's like, Jesus, like, because like when you think about, you can't help but think about those things. It's like, am I poison?
Right.
Am I Bojack? Do I do these things? Like, even if like deep down you're not, like, even if you're well adjusted, like, just as a human being, like you're prone to have that kind of like, oh my God, kind of thing, and like,
yeah,
because I don't know, it's intriguing to me in that like this is seen through the eyes of people who don't lead very standard kind of lives. Like people who live in not only in the entertainment business and as creatives, but people who work in Hollywood,
right?
Where it's just a lifestyle that is completely fucking different from virtually anything else, and it's filled with, a lot of miserable people, because a lot of times people pick the entertainment. I mean, in a way, this is a good tie-in. We talked about on the Pursuing Passion Kirblog that we did a while ago. Like, it's fucking hard. It's hard to choose that kind of life, because you're never going to know if you're going to maintain healthy relationships. You never know if you're going to be able to make ends meet and pay your fucking bills.
Yep.
But it's like Rob Paulson says, it's like nobody put a gun to her head and said you have to be an actor or you have to be an artist, you have to be a whatever. You chose this.
Yes.
And then even to a further extent, where there's people who grow up in Hollywood and they are forced into it because they're kids.
Yep.
And that's what they're told to do. And
cue in Sarah Lynn.
Yeah. And then, Sarah Lynn, the one moment, the breaking point that they show at the beginning of the last episode, it's like, oh no.
Are you talking about when Bojack presents the script
offers her the episode? Yeah.
Oh God, no! You just see that it's like, well, Bojack, it was nice seeing you. Well, you're just like, oh God in hell. Even her as a little kid can understand that he's the way he is.
Yeah. Actually, by the way, another huge mention, Kristen Schaal on fucking Sarah Lynn. Wow.
Yeah.
Because I love her voice work. She's another one who's been doing a lot more animation stuff in the last 2 years. She's on Gravity Falls, and she's in Toy Story 3 and a bunch of other shit. Whew, that was a good performance on her. Just and really rangeful, like really funny, and like just a lot. And during the serious shit, she totally sold it. It was like, man,
yeah.
like.
I've heard of her performance mostly through Bob's Burgers as Louise, and that's a completely different show. It's intentional comedy. Bojack is a completely different place, but you get the combination of both the humorous delivery and then the real strong side. Especially when they're in the hotel room and you hear Sarah Lynn. It's something like, "I don't like anything about me." It's just a heart-wrenching sort of deal.
God. How do we end this on a good note, Shady? What do we do?
The world isn't as bleak and dark as this. You're loved. I love you. Kerb loves you.
Oh. Shady loves all of you. Send all of your love mail to Shadyvox.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, my God. I guess any other closing thoughts? Anything else to kind of go on?
Oh, I have no idea. You've completely sucked the soul out of me, and all I feel now is dread.
Delicious Shady soul.
Yeah, I've got one poke, actually. There is no way a restaurant would accept an $18 million check because Todd didn't even write it to the fucking restaurant. That is bullshit. That is a continuity error, and I am upset, and it completely negates the 3 seasons of the show that I cried over, and I want my money back.
Certainly... I sincerely hope that is the first issue that they tackle.
Thank you.
See, you know what? I say that as I'm joking. I'm like, they probably will be like, and then they built an empire off of this $14 million and made a giant fucking like chain of new restaurants with that diner or whatever, and that'll be like in the background of every fucking episode of season 4.
That would be great if it does.
I want that. Yeah, This show is, I like I said before, and I'll say it again, this show is life-changing. Even if not every character is like directly relatable in some kind of way, the things that happen in this show, like the characters themselves are so fun, entertaining, and real. Yes. Like, for a show about fucking talking animals, this show is so real. My God. And it's worth experiencing. It's worth taking something away from because, my God, you will get it. And yeah, it's so if you got Netflix, I mean, if you haven't already, I mean, this is
if you haven't got Netflix, you should get Netflix. It's like what, $4.99, I think, for standard.
Yeah. Watch this.
And that'll give you access to the whole show, as well as other things like Stranger Things is on there. And Breaking Bad. Yeah. So do that. Although by this point we spoiled every fucking major plot point. But if you really haven't seen it by this point, what the fuck are you doing? Go watch that idiots.
shit.
If you're still listening and you haven't seen it, you're idiots.
Shame on you. Yeah, I guess that's going to wrap us up. So, Shady, plugs, anything you want to talk about and get out there?
I don't think so. I hope Bojack just gets what he wants, but I know this show's going to stab me through the heart. Again, I'm going to open it and trust it, and it's going to spit on me like a... I'm too sad.
I meant plugs for yourself.
Oh no, yes, I've got plenty in the works, but nothing that I can talk about yet. I'm afraid.
What's the best way for? I know you're on Twitter much these days. What's the best way for people to keep up with what you're up to?
No, it would be Twitter. I just don't use Twitter for like personal works. It's personal life. It's all personal works now. But
you update your Facebook page still once in a while.
Nothing about my happening that's going on in real life sort of deal. But I don't know. I still respond to tweets and stuff and YouTube messages. So if anybody wants to get a hold of me, or I feel like I'm pandering here, somebody hire me, please. I need work.
Whatever. You got plenty of shit on your plate. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye out. We'll have something soon. Maybe even something that we're working on together.
Possibly, yes.
Something we're doing. Maybe something that'll be coming up in the next couple months or so. I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know. I didn't say anything. You didn't hear it from me.
No.
Well, I guess that's it. So on that sad note, the sad note of hire Shady, he's broke. In the comments below, if you have seen Bojack Horseman, please leave your thoughts, favorite characters, favorite episodes, favorite moments, anything. Hopes, dreams, aspirations for season 4, anything that you want to talk about. I guess the comment section will be spoiler territory, so be smart and don't look through it. But yeah, and if you have future Kirblog topics, leave a comment about that too. Hit me up on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, all the usual shit. I think if not on Tuesday of this next coming week, maybe by the end of the month, I want to do kind of a follow-up topic. I got a question submitted over Tumblr about never meet your heroes kind of thing, which I think would actually be kind of a good one to follow this one after. So I might be doing that one, maybe even with a guest. We'll see. But and then I got some cool shit coming up for October as well, and November, and December, and January, and the rest of my life. Bye, everybody.
Bye.